So what's up? Welcome to the 100K live stream. I am so excited. Listen, this couple is one of my favorite couples because, as y'all seen in that episode, they kept it 1,000% real. And so we're just gonna talk. I just want to talk to them and see what they've been up to, and just fill y'all in. So welcome to the live. Listen, congratulations on 100K. Let me just hit you with this right here. Yeah, let me just hit y'all with that real quick. 100K. So what was some of the feedback that y'all got from your episode? Y'all can just jump in however you want to and try to sit close to the microphone so they can hear you.
Man, the feedback, we got really good,
very good feedback.
Good feedback. We didn't get a lot of, of course I knew that there was going to be a little storm of whatever, but I was prepared for that.
But whatever, what you mean by the whatever?
If you end up being the villain in somebody's story, you want to defend yourself.
Oh, you're talking about from the ex?
Yeah.
Okay,
so
okay.
I knew that I was going to get some flack from that, but the way that I look at it is, if you want to be talked about in a nice manner,
then be nice.
Then be nice.
Be nice.
And that was the thing when I said on the episode, I may be the villain to him.
Yeah.
I will sit in that though. I'm okay
Yeah.
with that. So yeah, but for the most part, we had so many people saying they were so grateful that we came on to share our story, that our story encouraged them and helped them to see that they could have the same thing. And I don't necessarily want people to feel like the way that we went about getting all of this done was top tier.
Right.
So what you mean? So let's unpack that, because a lot of people did comment about that.
Yeah. I read some of the comments because I normally do not. I don't, because I really just
And
don't.
you responded to a couple.
I responded to one because I felt like she was really going hard, and I was like, sis, you don't know me, ma'am. You're literally talking like we've had conversations. So basically she was saying, well, you mean to tell me that you were in a marriage and the Lord told this man that you were his wife, and I was just like, did anybody pay attention to what I said? Did I not say that I was in a marriage where my spouse was constantly cheating?
Yeah.
So what exactly do you do when you're in that type of thing? And then it's not like it's I'm dealing with people, 3 states over. I'm dealing with people right here in town. You know what I'm saying? So like, it was, she basically was just like, oh, so you guys started an emotional affair. And I'm like, girl, you can call it whatever you want. I was very nice on the first episode.
Yeah,
okay, well now we're back, and I'm here to let y'all know, like, that is not what this is. That's not what this is. Like, we really did meet each other and was just like, oh, we're just gonna be cool.
Yeah.
No one was expecting for love to sprout up. I definitely wasn't, because again,
List
he's
of nevers.
younger.
List of nevers.
All of these things. I had things that was just like, he's not checking off any of the boxes that I necessarily want. So yeah, no one was looking for this, but
God had other plans.
yeah.
Yes, he did.
And we gonna follow him.
Yep.
And see, another thing, a lot of times people say, like, how can you give God the glory for that? And y'all are very vocal about saying that it's God.
Yeah,
It
it's
had to
definitely.
be. Too many things
God,
were
yeah.
confirmed. Too many things were confirmed after we got married. That was just like,
Such as, give us context.
Man, all types of floodgates open for us after we got married.
Oh, for sure. Even just our wedding.
Yeah,
period.
just the way that our wedding came together was so, I feel like it was so God ordained. The very first time that we talked about being married, the venue that I wanted, I had completely went away from that venue because I was like, they're talking about so many thousands of dollars, and this is my second wedding. I don't want to spend all of that. We get a call, and the venue was more than 60% off of what the actual price was. And so I was like, at this point, this thing has come down this much. You know how wedding venues, they cost.
Expensive.
So there were certain things, different things that were confirmed to me spiritually. Like, I started dealing with when we talked about on the episode that my dad had abused me. Well, there's a current case that's happening in the state of Texas, and so many times when I wanted to retreat and deal with that myself, Bruce was always just like, okay, so no, we made an agreement that we were not going to do that. He kept confirming to me that the choice that I made to marry him was not for naught. that I actually did. I was hearing from God when he said, this is the man for you. And the thing is, the way that I know that Bruce is the man for me, because anybody that knows me knows, when I get upset with somebody, I don't have to ever talk to you ever again in life. I cannot stay mad at this man for no longer than 10 minutes, and I'd be so mad with myself.
She's mad that she's not mad.
When I realize that I'm now no longer mad at you, I just be like...
You get mad that you ain't mad no more?
Because honey, who can take an anger to... I'm working on it, guys. But yeah, so many things were confirmed.
You said you get mad when you're not mad no more?
I get mad when I'm not mad anymore. Like, you literally just hoodwinked me out of my anger.
So is this something he does? Do you? So how do you handle her when she gets mad?
I don't know. You know what? I don't know if it's a handling thing. I think I just kind of let her be her. One thing that I told her in the beginning, one day we weren't talking, actually.
This is when y'all were married or when y'all were dating?
No, when we were dating.
Okay.
And it literally I came to the realization, I was just like, I said, okay. And we had basically went all day
of not talking to each other.
Not necessarily talking. Because she didn't really say that she wanted to be quiet. You just wasn't answering the phone. So I was, calling, I was texting, I was this and third. And I was just like, wait a minute. So we actually did talk. I did get her on the phone because I sent her a pretty good
text message,
voice note.
Voice note.
Be clear, he is never, ever, ever disrespectful.
No.
Bruce is never, ever disrespectful. Like, he's just very forward in what he says, but it's nothing that people would hear and be like, oh, he talked to her like that.
Yeah.
It's not that.
Yeah. So I literally, I sent her a nice little voice note to let her know what the tone in my voice was.
Yeah.
And so then she called me. And I said, so what have you been doing? She's like, nothing. And I said, so you've seen me calling you and she was just like, I mean, yeah. And I said, oh,
that's what we doing?
No, I said, you just want to be mad. This isn't anything that, I made you, mad or whatever the case may be. I said my piece, which was truthful. And I said, you just wanted to be mad. I said, oh no, that's not how this works.
Yeah.
That is not what is happening, here.
Yeah.
And I told her, I said, if that's the way that you're going to go about this, then leave me alone.
And then what you hear when he said that? What did you hear?
Well, see, okay, so this is the thing. I've never had a man break up with me. I've never had a man sort of give me the ultimatum of I'll I don't have to deal with you at all. Like, in all of my time of dating, I've never ever. So when he said that, I was just like. And he was like, no, because I'm not going to deal with anybody that feels like they can go all day without talking to me, because I don't want to go all day without talking to you. So if that's how you choose to deal with stuff, he was like, yeah, no, we can walk away from this right now. And I was just like, wow. In my head, I was just like, I'm letting this younger man basically punk me.
That's what she felt like. That's exactly what she felt like.
What in the world? How far have I fallen, Lord? Like, what's happening?
Because let's be clear. Let's be very, very clear.
He said, I let the young man punk me.
Let's be clear. This is not, yes, we were friends and all that kind of stuff. But let's also be clear on, this is not technically what Dee Dee wanted to do. If we want, let's just be completely honest, right? So it wasn't that, I just came in or whatever case may be. No, she was fighting against.
Oh no, I fought him the whole way,
yeah,
guys.
She was fighting.
Yeah, I think some of the comments that we saw, like, of what our story was, people actually thought that this was, running through a field of sunflowers and it's birds chirping. And I fought him the whole way.
Yes.
But he told me a long time ago that I was worth whatever attitude that I was giving him, that I was worth it, because he was like, I know you don't want to be this way. He said, I know you don't want to be this way. I know you don't want to be this hard. Because he was like, when you are in your softest spot, that's when I really, really, really know that we're connecting. And he was like, I know all of this is just an exterior thing that you do to protect yourself, but he would always tell me, you don't have to protect yourself against me. I'm never going to do anything to deliberately hurt you. And if you call me out on me doing something that hurts your feelings, what I have definitely learned about him is that if I tell him, babe, like that hurt my feelings, or I was really disappointed by you, that takes him down more than anything.
Yeah, that's good.
It takes him all the way down. So once that really settled in my spirit, like, yo, he's not going to do anything that would hurt me and then watch me recover only to do it again. He's just not that type of guy. So that was when, once we decided that we were going to get married and like we started putting things in place, that's when I finally started softening up to the idea of submission to everything. Submission to my own feelings.
For sure. Because
what my flesh wants to do is when Bruce tells me, he just did this the other day, when we were talking about the calendar stuff.
Oh yeah, that was yesterday.
Yeah. So we had a situation where Bruce was like, let's put all of our schedule. Let's put our schedule in our calendar. And I was just like, I don't want to put anything in the calendar because I know where I'm supposed to be when I'm supposed to be there. He was just like, babe, for this to work for me, I want for you to put it in the calendar so that I can see it. And I basically told him that I was not going to do it. And he was just like, this is what's going to help me get this done. When he said that, my flesh wants to say, you do not tell me what to do. Mm-hmm. When I say that I'm going to when I say that I have my schedule and that all I need to be worried about is you and our daughter's schedule, when you come back to me and tell me that that's what's going to happen because that's what's going to help you make this house work, it was just like, I always think about the fact that Bruce does not do anything to hurt me.
Yes.
So if this is what he feels like.
Yes.
Okay, well then fine, sir. We'll do it. So yeah, I concede a lot.
Growth.
And to me,
growth.
Say
it's growth.
To me, it feels like I'm conceding a lot, but I have to concede a lot because I have the most to work through. Bruce don't have a whole lot to work through.
Someone just said that Bruce is not just mature, he has God-inspired wisdom, and that is priceless. Would you agree with that?
I mean, when I say those are the words, and the thing is, Bruce comes from, his parents are just really solid people. Like we spent 2 weeks with them over the Christmas holiday, and
hey, Mom.
I
know you're here. I see you somewhere.
Yeah, they're really solid people, and it helped me to understand him even more when I came back from spending extended amount of times with him. It's just like, oh, okay, yeah. Bruce is laid back, but when he needs to put his foot down as the man, he does it. And he needs to do that because I am the type of woman that if you give me any type of inch,
you're gonna walk him out.
Oh God, I'm gonna walk it all over you. So I needed somebody like that. So it does feel like I'm conceding a lot, but I need to because I have 30 something years worth of, you don't tell me what to do, I'm grown. So yeah.
Have y'all had any of those moments while y'all were married? Those you don't tell me what to do type moments?
What?
Every week, guys. What are you talking about?
Just yesterday, as I told you, she told you. We talked about the calendar, and there's a reason for that, right? Like for us, when we're dealing with daughters that work and cars and just making sure schedules are a thing. I'm in the midst of building my business and my company, so I'm literally at the studio. I mean, we talk, but I'm at the studio all the time, so I need to make sure. But it's a thing of where, okay, well, if she's at home because she just had a late session, but I get up early and I'm doing this, it's literally saying, okay, you know what, an argument. Not even an argument, but just disagreements that we have between us and our daughters. It gets to a point to where it's just like, okay, look, because I didn't know that you had to be to work, or you didn't know, whatever case may be, let's just put it in the calendar. Because at that point, now everybody is accountable. And that's a big thing for me. is everybody's accountable. So if I miss it, then I can't say, well, Trinity, you didn't send that to me, or you didn't let me know. No, everybody is accountable for what they need. So that's what the calendar, it wasn't that I'm trying to make everybody do something that I want them to do. It's saying, hey, this is going to work for our household because everybody is busy. Everybody is productive. Everybody has something to do. So let's do that. So then for her, it was like, no, because I know my schedule. But the thing is, we don't know your schedule. Just like when we're fussing at Trinity for her schedule, and you don't know my schedule. So you know your schedule in your head, and she'll pop up and say, hey, and then it'll be like, well, I told you about, but I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's go by my wife's rule of make sure that you have receipts, right? So if that's the case, that's a receipt. If I miss it, then I missed it, and now I feel like, okay, well, I can get in trouble or discipline or whatever the case may be for that because I didn't pay attention to what we are talking about.
That's good.
But if I'm just saying, hey, babe, I got to be at the studio, I'm rolling over, I got to be at the studio at 3, and then she's like, but I just told you earlier that we got something to do at 2:30, then it's, it's a thing. So,
Someone said, I see all too well, Pat Bailey said, I see all too well that Bruce was actually sent to you by God to help you heal and experience love as he designed it. Glory, growth.
Yeah. It's a real thing. I am not one of those people that run away from challenges. It is a challenge for a woman like myself to submit to a man, any man.
Yeah.
It's a this is the thing, because I challenge leadership.
This is true. This is true.
It's a thing but the thing is, it's because I am so used to being only dealt with by my really strong mom.
Okay.
So the thing is, growing up, I saw my mom being a wife and all of that, but it wasn't until just these last few years that I've seen her kind of just raise up and be like, yo, I'm submitting to something I don't need to submit to. So I see that. And because I am so much like my mom, it's just like, this is a dying daily thing that as y'all can see, I still haven't mastered it, but I'm doing much better. What I love about what me and Bruce have is that if I tell Bruce that something that I feel like something is missing, meaning, okay, well, I need for you to use this verbiage with me in order for me to hear this the way that you intended, and vice versa, we immediately just kind of snap to that.
Yeah.
And it makes it work.
That's good.
Bruce and I do not have a lot of friction, but I think that is because we really do try to consider the other before ourselves.
Yeah.
That's good.
And it helps it to work.
And sometimes sometimes the headbutt is considering each other too much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the.
Give me an example of that.
Okay, so
You said considering the other too much.
yeah, well, not necessarily in a bad way, but
Yeah.
just okay. So the other day, being transparent a little
Yeah.
bit, we're down to like one car right now, right?
Yeah.
So a couple of weeks ago,
We are totally not down to one car. My car, I'm just letting my brother take it all over the country.
like I said, down
to one car.
So see,
all over the country.
See, that's lit. I wasn't trying to put my brother's business out there. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is.
I'm just letting him take it all around. I love you. You know how.
So like I said,
around the
down
country.
to one car. So what I did was because I had a busy weekend and she had a full weekend, and our daughter had a full weekend. Like, it was a thing, which that doesn't really happen often, but it was one of those things. So because of things that needed to be done, I said, okay, I rented a car, right? And I got a car, and I left her, of course, you know what I'm saying, the other car, whatever. And so I think one day I went to the studio, I went into her early. She was asleep. I told her goodbye. She didn't hear me. But I went, and so she was like, when she woke up, she was just like, well, why did you, you know what I'm saying, why did you rent a car and da-da-da-da, because we could, and I was just like, I said, because I knew that you had a busy weekend. I knew Trinity needs to be at work, but I also knew, you know what I mean, that if I was out doing what I was doing, you were going to be. So it was kind of in that space where it was just like, you fussing at me for being considerate?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
because I don't like spending money.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm just not like I
Yeah.
just don't like it. And so I was
I
just
don't
like,
like
babe,
it.
you could have just took the car, came back to pick Trinity up, because if I'm in the bed and I don't have a session, I'm not getting up the whole day.
She said
It's
the
a
whole
real
day.
like
But the
I am
thing
taking
is-
the pandemic
This
seriously,
is
guys.
very true. But the thing is,
said the whole
she did have
I had
somewhere to
things
go.
to do.
So I was just like, okay, even in the times that I know, because I know my wife and I know how her
Yeah.
bed is, and I know I got a really good mattress for us, and she sleeps it, you know what I'm saying, down. But like, I understand the way, even if she doesn't have to move until a certain time, when
Yeah.
it's time for her to move, she, you know what I'm saying, she
Yeah.
moves, and I move slower. You know what I'm saying? Than her.
Way slower.
So it's
said way slower.
so it's just not on her time. That's all. But like, I just don't move to her pace. So when I don't move to her pace, then it gets to a point to where it's just like, okay, well, I don't need her to be annoyed at this point because she's going to record, she's going to do her thing, she's going to be working all weekend. So I don't want to be the annoyance
Yeah.
that is on her in that space. So if it's spending money to make sure that we are good in the
that-
long
yeah,
run,
that makes
'cause that's
sense.
my thing. I always think about the longevity.
Yeah.
The other day, she was she felt like she was late picking me up, right? And she was just like, she got to the house and she was like, you should be mad at me. And I was like, for what? And she was like, you should be mad at me because I don't like, you know,
When somebody's pick
when
up late.
somebody's picking up, like, I don't like that. I said, but that's too small. Like, why would I be upset? She was like,
He
be
is
mad at
so
me.
annoying.
I said, that doesn't make any sense for me to be mad at you.
She said you should be mad at me.
Yeah, like, people are dying. People, let's, you know what I'm saying? People got COVID. People, you know what I'm
She said
saying,
you should
don't
be
have
mad at me 'cause
money.
I picked
People
you up.
are bad.
How late
Like,
were you, Didi?
I wasn't
It wasn't
really
too
late.
late,
Like
but it
literally,
was-
he was having to go to church, and then I was basically just hanging with my mom and my sister's stuff. So I just left late, and I was so like, oh my God, like I was like, babe, I am so sorry that I'm late, and he's like, babe, it's okay. And I said, no, because I don't like it when this happens to me. And so then I was like, just be mad at me. He was like, what? But see, again, my first emotion, he tells me all the time,
Anger.
if I
Anger.
ask you a question, your first response is always no.
Yep.
Until you think about it, then you're like, okay, yeah, we can do that. But my first response is always no. And the first emotion
It's
that I
anger.
go to, it is never hurt. It is always anger. It's
always anger.
So Bruce is not that way.
said you should be angry.
Yeah, he's very he's calm. He's just he's really honestly perfect for who I am.
Yeah.
Even though people that know him and that know me are just like, how
y'all work? Yeah.
How are y'all working? Because Didi seems to be the type, and it's not that I seem to be, I am. I am the type. I am the type that I come through, you know what I'm saying, my house. I can be a tornado if need be, but Bruce is always when I get to him, if I come in and I am upset or I'm annoyed or whatever, Bruce can come to me and he'll just be like, babe, just give me a hug. I cannot still be upset.
That's good.
With the way that he is. Like,
That's good.
Bruce has a touch that
That's
just
good.
makes me all of that come down. But he also has this thing about him that once I calm down, he really makes me feel like you do not have to be this dramatic about this. Because it's not this. Because like he just said, why would I be mad at you about this? People are dying. It's like on the Kardashians at one time when Kim had lost her diamond earrings in the ocean and her mom was like, Kim, people are dying. She is bawling about these. That's how Bruce makes me feel. He's just like, babe, yeah.
But put this in perspective. How long were you? How late were you?
No, it wasn't later. I mean,
may have been I wanted to be back at the house by like 6:30, and I didn't get back to the house until like 6:40.
Right.
Oh wow! So you said
right. But here's the thing. And here's the thing. Here's the crazy part.
She said 10 minutes.
She wasn't late. The thing is, if I would have been mad at her, I would have been dumb because I had the wrong rehearsal time that was given to me. So I said that rehearsal started at 7. She got there at 6:40. I get there, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
probably about 7, you know what I'm saying. Well, no, I got there actually before 7. And I pulled up, lights are off. And I was just like, wait, what? And, you know, the friend of ours that I go to church with, she was like, oh, it's actually 7:30. I was mad. Like, I was mad.
But think about this. It's stuff like that could have destroyed, like, a marriage.
For sure. It could have been bigger than what it was.
What it does is anger just makes you say and do things, and it could. But again, that's how a whole lot of things start. And what I love about Bruce and I is that we really do try to nip things before it ever goes.
No, for sure.
So like even if we have friends that are going through different things in their relationships, we talk about it in our relationship to be like, okay, so if this was how
will we handle it?
So that we really are trying to I don't know, like bulletproof our marriage to the point where these little things just don't. The personality traits between him and I, that's something that'll probably always need to be worked on, because I don't necessarily see me ever not being so alpha. Yeah. Because I think I need that in the type of job that I do, but I just have to, because again, I did not see this soft, even though I'm a very serving wife at home.
This is very true.
Who knew?
This is absolutely
Who knew
true.
I had it in me?
No, I think you knew. It just wasn't supposed to be at that space, because that was because you took it upon yourself to go into that relationship. That wasn't a God thing.
Yeah, I'm very serving at home. Like I make sure that laundry is always done. I make sure that everything is always clean. I'm cooking 3-4 times a week. I'm texting him and asking, hey, what do you feel like eating tonight? Like, and this is like every other night. Like, my family is just like, when did you even learn how to do any of this? But the crazy thing was, I started saving recipes to my phone years ago.
Really?
But I never cooked. Okay, not in the last.
So why was you saving it?
Because I just knew that.
For you, she was in preparation.
Because this is the thing. When I was, even though my first marriage was a dud for me, I knew that I wanted to be married. I knew that I did not want to be the girl that was dating and all that. I knew that. So I knew that eventually I was going to be married again. And I always knew that my second marriage, and it's crazy to say, even more crazier for someone who's a believer to actually hear it, but I knew that my second marriage was going to be the best, because I knew that I had went through enough to where now I really do know how to be someone's wife, because I'm not the type that I have to go through what you've went through in order for me to know this is absolutely not the freeway that I need to take. So what I did was I stockpiled a lot of characteristics. I stockpiled a lot of advice. I stockpiled a lot of things that I read, and I kept them inside of me so that when it came time for me to actually commit to the man that I wanted to be with, I could just pour that out as much as I can. And so Bruce tells me all the time, babe, you really are a good wife. And I'm always just like, do you think so? Because I was terrible the first time around. I was terrible.
But you would be terrible in a situation
like
that.
And I get that. But just so that women who have sent me messages and have said, like, I just appreciate your story so much, know that it did not, I'm not sitting up here completely honestly put together. I will tell you that first time around, I was terrible. I was terrible. And I said it in the first episode. I was terrible in the way that I reacted to him. I was terrible in the way that I just dealt with him, period. Again, if I tell Bruce, if you were to call him and tell him, yo, and Dee Dee cooked
he'll be shocked.
Short ribs the other day and she fixed salmon tonight.
Like, who is this woman?
He would just be like, she's never, because I did not do that. So I am much better, but it's because I've grown so much more. And I think that I've been through enough at this point to where I have something to relate.
Yes.
But you're also comfortable. Like you're comfortable in a space, and even though you were dealing in dysfunction before, it didn't matter, because the Lord didn't let you, he didn't let you be comfortable in that. He didn't so let me. Anything was going to be a prick, or anything was going to be a thorn, or anything was going to be something that was unsettling for you to actually settle and say, nah, you know what I mean? I think that's the thing. I mean, we talk all the time when it comes to being, for that person, or, when God ordains, this. Like the thing is that did he make this? Did he ordain this? Right? There's a reason why they put in the Bible. You know what I mean? Like, what God puts, together. Put us on. Like, there's a reason why, because there's a lot of people that are literally just getting into relationships and it's not ordained.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he gives you free will. He gives you the time to be able to do what you need to do, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that he honors it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's pretty much what you're looking at in that space. And so I just think that you weren't comfortable.
I wasn't comfortable, and I was not interested in trying to honor anything.
No.
And in our relationship, and especially in our marriage, I really do wake up every day wanting to understand how to honor you even more. Because the one thing that I feel like, I tell my kids this all the time, you're responsible for the attempt. You're not responsible for the outcome.
You're responsible for the attempt.
You're not responsible for the outcome. You have to be found doing what's right. That's the reason why I would tell him, hey, make sure that when people say different things to you about whatever, that it's in black and white. Because you're going to follow to the letter what's in black and white. And
yes.
So what I do is I'm always asking him about this, about that, because I want to make sure that I'm doing everything that I possibly can, so that if anything was ever to happen to where we were to not be together, no one's going to be able to say that it's because I didn't do what I was supposed to do. I did everything that I felt like I needed to do in order to make this work. And I think that that's what happens, is that I think God is honoring our attempts, because we
yes.
really do wake up every day. It's very storybook how this goes every day, because Bruce will roll over and he just be like, babe, he'd be like, good morning, babe, how'd you sleep? And I'm like,
how did you sleep?
Who are you? But
he said, how did you sleep?
But this is the thing, you appreciate those things when you've never ever had it before.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it is a dying process every day. I'm dying to ego, I'm dying to pride, I am dying to all of those things that could sink a marriage every single day.
Yeah.
I don't win every day, honey, but I mean,
easy.
It's not easy.
No,
oh my God.
No.
It's totally not easy.
And we don't even say, like, difficult is one thing. Challenging is another thing.
Yeah.
Hard is another thing. Like, it's not, a lot of people, it's work, or, marriage is hard, and da-da-da-da-da. And it's just like,
it's a challenge.
No, it's definitely a challenge. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But anything worth it is going to be some type of challenge.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
If y'all have any questions, make sure I'm reading the comments here. Make sure that you ask those questions and we'll try to get them answered. Make sure you share this live feed. Go on Facebook, share it on your Facebook page. Tell people this is a live that they don't want to miss. Because, man, let me tell you, y'all are keeping it lit. Oh, my God. A lot of people was like, oh, my God, this is a kingdom marriage. They said, I'm going to love doing kingdom partnership again if God allows. I hope so. I hope so. I hope so. That's what they said.
It's so fun.
Yeah, it's very fun, man.
Yeah, a
Marriage
lot of
is
people are saying
fun.
some powerful stuff.
Yeah.
Believers process different, or we should. I love that. A lot of time, everybody's just commenting how powerful y'all are right now. For God so loved Dee Dee that he gave her Bruce. And the church say amen.
Listen, honey, because I really want people to understand I am a handful.
Two hands. I'm
a handful. So that's one.
But I got big hands.
Anybody that follows me on Facebook or whatever will hear how I talk a lot about not necessarily being worthy of the way that this man loves me. Because, man, let me tell you something. I can be, for lack of a better term, I can be so ignorant when I want to be. But I really, really, really do try my absolute best to not. Bruce has not seen that side of me towards him. He's seen it back when we first got together with me dealing with other people. But because I feel like if I was to hurt his feelings, that I would hurt my own feelings worse than that.
But that's because, okay, I'm going to try to explain this the best way that I can.
Go ahead, break it down.
I feel like relationships have to be broken down. They have to be broken down into, I guess I would say, categories. If basically in onions, you have layers.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. Is my friend is one thing. My girlfriend is another thing. My wife is another thing. So, you know, when you're dealing in that stuff, and I would even say my partner.
Yeah.
You know, because me being her friend, there's sometimes literally, and I don't know, it might be crazy to people, but this is how it works in our household. Sometimes we will get upset or annoyed or whatever the case may be. And if there's a conversation that's getting ready to happen, it's literally saying, I need to talk to my friend.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
we're
real quick to do that.
Like, I don't need my husband right now. I need my I need my friend.
That's
you know
good.
what I mean? And so even in the space where, for me, I'm working, like I said, I work and I have my company that I'm building.
Yeah.
I am trying to learn balance.
Yeah.
I am an entertainer.
Yeah.
So when I'm a creative. So what I am learning is that it's not just that I have been doing this by myself for so long. I've been doing it by myself for so long, but then also I'm still trying to learn balance, because if I don't, I didn't come up, but I lived in LA for 5 years. So the thing was networking, doing this and doing that and running around and saying, hey, I can make everything at any time that I want to. At this point, I'm not in that space.
Yes.
So when I'm learning how to be a husband and a businessman, and like, you know, she told me the other day, she finally was just like, I don't like who you are in this growing phase of business or becoming. That's what you said. I don't like who you are in your becoming. And I was like, wait, what do you mean by that? She was like, no, it's not that. It's just that you're trying to find your way. And because you're trying to learn balance, anything that is basically coming up against that, it feels like you're bucking against it.
Adversity.
You know, and I'm like, oh. Like, I didn't know that that's the way that I was, you know, saying coming off.
And because what that basically was saying was that I wanted to let you know that I understand your process of becoming. So I'm not going to expect so much of you this particular day, because I know this day you're focused on your business. So I can't be at home being the whiny wife, like, oh, I want him to spend all day with me. He already told me that he was going to be at the studio all day.
Yeah.
So that means I can't be at home crying and acting up. And then when he come home, after he comes home from working on his business all day, when he comes home, he don't need to walk in the house to an emotional upside down wife. I need to text him and say, hey babe, what do you want to eat tonight? And he'll be like, oh, you cooking? Cool. So when he gets home, all he has to do is go in, take a shower, and I have already cooked the food. His plate is already made. And what he wants to do when he wants to chill is, let's sit in front of the TV, let's watch movies, let's eat. And that's how he recharges. Sometimes I just have to say, this is not my day to be the queen of all of it.
Good.
And I think that's good. You know, some of us, we're so used to social media telling us that we're supposed to demand.
That's crazy.
But I don't necessarily know if anybody is telling us what to give. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So,
and like I said,
that's
even in that space, us having that conversation, going back to what I was saying, was I'm not talking to my husband right now.
Right.
I'm talking to my friend, because there's certain things that my friend
can say, and you'll receive
that, and I'll receive that my wife, I'll look at it a little differently. You know, so you have to really put those things in place. And like I said, it might be crazy, and it don't matter where we are. Like, it doesn't even just happen at home. We can be riding in the car with other people. We can be in a space where we in the store, you know what I'm saying, together, and just like, okay, look, I need to talk to my friend, or you know what, I need to talk to my wife. You know what I mean? And putting those things into perspective at that, you know, at that time, because those layers really do make you, you know, it makes it fun. It can be whatever. Some people call it role play, and they only do the role play when it comes to
sexual
sex.
stuff.
But
do
my
it with
thing is,
intimate conversation.
I have time for all that. I've been at the studio all night. I cannot put on a French maid outfit tonight.
Right, but what I'm saying is that we basically have designed that role play into our decisions and conversations of what we do. So it's that. I think that it's that, and I love that.
Bruce, I want you to answer this. DL Dance for Him says, Bruce, can you talk more about how you create a safe emotional space for your wife? Where did you learn that?
My dad. And here's the thing. I don't know for sure if it was something that I was like looking at and studying.
Yeah.
But because my parents are so amazing, my parents are actually on here. They're watching some of this, so I just
shout out to y'all for raising this man.
Elliott's one. Elliott's one. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
But my parents are absolutely incredible, and literally they've been married. I want to say it's either 40 years or it's almost 40 years. No infidelity, period. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they are the best friends. They are, that. And I think that because, and even my mom explained, the way that she was, because I'm my mom in the creative aspect, but when it comes to love, I am very much my dad. She is a lot more like my mom.
Yes.
In that space.
In upbringing and kind of like the way that we, interact with our,
But in that emotional space, that's the way that she is. But on the logic side, she's like my dad. So it's very, very weird. But I think that was the thing I learned from my parents. I watched them, a lot, and I watched them counsel. I watched them live, and talking to my parents, you know what I mean?
So what is their profession? You said watch them counsel.
Yeah, so anyway, my parents are relationship pastors.
Okay.
Right?
Well, there it is.
Yeah, so they're relationship pastors. They were pastors for like 12 years as far as, with the church, and then they moved like just for business and gave the church over to, my aunt and uncle who are now doing that. But they do relationships, and they also, they do a bunch of things, and did network marketing for years. I'm an Amway baby for sure. Yeah. But just watching them and understanding this is what this is. This is what unconditional love is.
That's good.
And a lot of times we don't necessarily get that. The thing is that I'm just loving you for whatever. I'm just loving you because I love you, not because what you do for me, right? So regardless of what the situation is, and there sometimes can be some conditional things in that space, but at the end of the day, I'm not loving you to love me. I'm literally just loving you because that's what it's innate for me to do. So I think that is the thing, is creating the safe space for her to be vulnerable. I learned that from my parents, but I also learned it from her experience. Right?
Yes.
So I learned it from her experience and communicating. You know what? When I was in this and I dealt with this, then this is the way that I reacted, or this is the way that I did, whatever. And so I'm like listening. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm that person, even though I'm an only child. I'm that person that looks at the other people like, if I had, oh, okay, they getting whooping because they didn't take out the trash.
I'm gonna make sure I take out the trash.
I'm gonna make sure that I take out the trash. You know what I mean? Like it's that. So I learned a lot just from that. And so it's saying, okay, she needs a space to be able to do this. Yep. She needs a space to be able to feel the way that she feels. And it's just like, okay, at this point, I'm not going to stop her from being DD.
Yeah.
So do your thing. Say what you have to say to me, and don't sugarcoat it.
That's good.
And then I can't be in a space to where if she says something,
I'm
sensitive.
Offended. Yeah, you're so sensitive that because you asked for it. You asked for that transparency.
Right.
And then your challenge as a man, like you said, is not to be offended by it, but to take that, cover it, and then present it back to her in love.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
I hope I answered that question.
100%.
He's never made me feel judged. And I would say to any woman Because this is the thing. I think that there are things that when we are dating that we look over that we need to be paying attention to. If there is not necessarily to test a man's ability or his capacity to make you feel safe, but if there is a particular situation in your life and you tell that man about that situation, pay real close attention to the questions that he asks you after. If any of the questions make you feel judged, if any of the questions make you feel less than, he is giving you a glimpse into how he's going to be down the line.
There it is.
And that's just it. At this point in our life, you're not really honestly going to meet too many people that have not dealt with some type of abuse in their background. I tell Bruce all the time, you are really one of the only people that I know that come from a background of no dysfunction whatsoever.
You said that in that interview. You said he just...
It's crazy to say, but I went and spent 2 weeks with his family. I'm telling you,
I
told him when we pulled up, the very first time that I went to their house, I told him that the house looked like something off of, what's the movie?
What's that movie?
Pleasantville?
Yeah, Pleasantville. That's what I was about to say to everybody.
Yeah.
No,
hello,
like you,
how are you?
You drive down the street and all of the houses look like it's a Sony lot.
I love
Like
Pleasantville.
none of
Actually,
this,
that's one of my
none of
favorite
this
movies.
is actually real. This cannot be real. The way that his parents, his dad, even though so the thing is, I don't do parents.
No. Let's be very,
What you
very
talking about?
clear.
You talking about you don't
She
like the
doesn't
in-laws?
I don't do
in-laws. She don't do
I don't
other
do
people's
any-
families.
Yeah, no, I don't.
She's not that type of person.
I don't.
If you in a relationship with her, you are in a relationship with her
With
and her
just me.
only. Now the thing is,
You probably gonna be in a relationship with my family.
yeah,
though.
for sure, for sure,
You
because that's what it is.
But I'm really not gonna fool with yours.
No.
Right? So this is the thing. His parents are
crazy.
so involved that and the thing is, the way that I knew that he learned how to make people safe from them is because they made me feel like that from the very first conversation. So I was scared of his dad in the beginning because Bruce had told me that him and his dad were really close, and the way that I looked at it was, even though I know that you normally date older women, you don't normally date older women who have a marriage under their belt as well as 2 teenage kids. Like you're coming into the situation, and my girls are just about graduating age, right? So I was nervous as to my lifestyle would be too much for Bruce. Like, so we went to North Carolina, and we, at this point we hadn't gotten married yet. Well, then once we got married, his dad, the day after we got married, his dad sent me this long text, and I read the text, and I was just like, even though I don't know how to interact with a father that is not looking for something from me. So like it was very hard for me to react in a way that a daughter does, because I don't know what that looks like. Like, people that know me know that I had a relationship with my dad for years. Matter of fact, 5 years ago, you wouldn't have ever known anything was going on with us, because whenever you saw us out in person, my dad was like my best friend. Well, then when all of the, when he was exposed for, being who he actually is, it shut me down from any type of relationship with an older man if you were not you were not my mom's brothers.
Yeah.
I wanted no parts. So his dad, from that first text, made me feel like he probably really does love the fact that I'm now his daughter. And so it's always been,
Oh God, this I just felt the Holy Spirit. Let me tell you something. Jesus, when I tell you God, the restoration, it's like God is restoring you from a husband. He's restoring you from a father.
All over the place.
And I
God,
told,
this is messing me up right now.
I told her in 2017, when it was talking about, just her and her relationship and what was going on in that space, and she was in a space where she was already kind of thinking about, what was gonna be happening. The Lord told me that was going to happen. The Lord told me that He was going to restore.
He did. He told me
the next 20 years.
That's what he told.
Yeah, he
That's
said
literally what he
the 20
told me.
years that
Yeah.
you lost.
Yep.
He's going to restore the next 20 years and beyond. And so I was just like, this is what the Holy Spirit said. Now I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, but that's what he said. And but it had to be when she took the leap.
I had to make the step.
She had to make the step.
The Lord wasn't gonna force it on me. So I want women out there, even men who have been abused in any type of way, especially by a parental figure, someone in your family. When the Bible says that he will absolutely give you back what the locust let me tell you,
from you,
it is a serious thing.
Yeah.
He will absolutely give you beauty for ashes. Those are not just things that we hear being said in church. I am a walking, living testament. And like I told Bruce this one day, how blessed am I? How favored am I that a girl who... And I mean, this just to give you a visual of what this is. I was 13 years old when my father sexually abused me. From that abuse, I contracted 3 STDs from that abuse alone. So I am a 14-year-old girl trying to get through high school, and my mom is having to take me back and forth to Children's Hospital because I'm having to take this medication. This medication is too strong for me because I'm just 13 years old. I'm 100 pounds soaking wet. Like, there were a lot of things just physically that I was having to deal with. And so I went through that. I went through dealing with my mom's husband, who at the time was very angry about everything. So the house was very volatile. I grew up in a very volatile situation. Yeah. And so the fact that I am able to sit here today and I can relate to a husband that God sent me, and instead of him choosing to allow me to go through even more hell, he gave me the ability to experience his love through love. I didn't have to experience his love through more trauma. I really do feel like, really do feel like God kind of put it to a point where, you know what? I really do think that you've dealt with enough trauma. Let's go ahead on and show the next 20 years of your life being sunflowers, rainbows, butterflies, and things like that, because everything was so, it's almost like, because again, I'm a visual person. My life, there were specks of good things. But for the most part, from the time I was about, I don't know, maybe 8 to about 17 was like when Scar took over Pride Rock.
Yes.
It was very dark. You could see bones. It was all of that. And then Bruce, when I met him, I was already in transformation of trying to get out of that dark place. Bruce does not come with any darkness. He's just not dark about anything in his life. He's very optimistic, faith-driven. And so now that was the reason why at our wedding, when we sent out the invitations, I said, I don't want anybody in anything black. I want to look out on this sea of supporters. Color. I want to see color. I want to see black people in rich, solid jewel tones, because that represents where I am in my life. Like, I understand now that I'm royalty. I understand. And like I said, God allowed me to see that through love, through a natural love, instead of taking me through more trauma.
Let me tell you, I can't take this. Let me tell you something. I did a live a couple of weeks ago, and it was a testimony service about how the podcast has impacted so many people. And I was just astounded by how many women have been through sexual trauma and molestation and rape. And this one lady was like, she just was raped 3 years ago. I mean, it's all this stuff. What I want you to do right now is I want you to pray over the women that are watching this podcast, watching this live right now, because a lot of them looked at your story and it gave them hope that a man can love them with good intentions and love them from a pure place. And I want you to speak to them. I want you to pray for their healing, and I want you to pray that God continues to restore their hope in man and mankind.
Before you do that, can you also, because we never talk about this enough, can we also talk about the men as well? Can you pray for the men as well? Because there's a lot of men that have been in those places as well, and it doesn't get, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it just gets swept under the rug.
It gets swept under the rug, but there's a lot of men that have gone through molestation 100%. And all that kind of stuff too. So
For sure. God, we thank you so much for today. We thank you for giving us the activities of our limbs. We thank you for breath in our bodies.
Yes, God.
We appreciate you for being who you are. If you never did anything else for us, God, just you sitting on the throne of our hearts and our lives is enough. Right now, we ask that you would just forgive us of anything that we've done that was not like you, anything that we've said, any thought that we did not snatch back. God, we ask that you would just forgive us so that we can walk in your love every single day with no type of apprehension. Right now, God, we come before you asking on behalf of all of the people that are watching, that have went through any type of abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, any type of trauma, mental trauma, God. We ask that you would just cover them. Cover right now, God. You said in your word that whatsoever we bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever we loose on earth shall be loose in heaven. God, we bind the spirit of infirmity that would come as a result of mental trauma. We bind the spirit of not feeling like they're enough because they were violated by people that they were supposed to trust. Right now, God, we loose your love on each and every person that is watching. God, let them know that they are valuable. Let them know that they are enough. Let them know that they're worthy. God, I ask right now that you would not take anybody else through anything else. If they've already come through sexual abuse, God, don't take them through anything else that's going to tear them up anymore. God, we ask right now, we're standing here on behalf of the many people that's watching saying, enough is enough.
Yes, God.
We want to serve you. Whatever you had to take us through, that's going to refine us and that's going to make us pure as gold. God, we ask right now that you would just give us, we welcome your love. We welcome your light. We welcome your love and we welcome your light. We thank you right now, God, for how you're going to turn stories around, how you're going to open up women's hearts to love, how you're going to let men know that even if you were violated, that you are still a man of God, that you can still walk in your authority, that you can still love a woman completely, fully, that you do have the same type of love inside of you to restore that I've been restored, and I'm the witness to that, God. So we thank you. We thank you for it. We believe that you're going to do it. We're not going to even see it at the end. You said that we are going to stand still and see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. And so we believe that. We receive that. We ask all of these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. Amen. Amen. My God, today. Oh Lord, I just know that needs to be done because these people sitting up here saying they about to run out the car.
Seriously.
This is amazing.
And I told her too, in a space in another conversation, because we definitely communicate a lot. But I told her too. I said, you know, and I think it was in our marriage. Like I literally said, you know, you're waiting for like that foot to kind of drop. Because we were talking about the house. And I say, you're waiting, you know what I'm saying, for that foot to drop. I'm like, but you because you are such a fighter and you are such a person of, you know, who's ready to kind of take on, you know, whatever is coming. You know, the challenges, yes, there will be, but they're different, you know, now. And I said, you've already been through it, so you don't have to go through it again. It's when you get into a relationship, you don't get into another relationship to fight and build through that relationship to get to the goal. No, I've been through that, and now I can look and I can say, you know what, I'm over that at this point. Now I want to be able to, but we feel like we don't deserve it.
And that's the thing. We have to, as women, and as, I'm not going to even say women, as survivors of any type of trauma, we really do have to not only receive the healing, but we really do have to walk in it. And so that's the reason why when he would say stuff like, you just want to be mad, that is an emotion that most survivors, we can sit in that. That's normal to us. Being happy all day and being content and being at peace is not normal. So if you're going to fight for anything, fight for that.
Fight for happiness.
Don't fight for happiness. If you've been able to relate to a person Whether this is in a eros relationship, whether it is in a platonic relationship, any type of covenant friendship, do not fight the people that God have sent to you to help heal you. Because this is the thing. A lot of times we really do be feeling like God is this person sitting in the sky and he is basically just throwing his hand and that's how the blessings come and that's how the healings come and that's how miracles come. No, he moves it upon the heart of his people to make things move. That's how he's able to get his point across, is through his people. So when you are attracting, when you have aligned yourself with the Holy Spirit, and your discernment is wide open and it's key. When those people come into your life, you do not throw them away by letting your flesh override what your spirit wants to do. We cannot operate in flesh all day long. We can't, because what's going to happen is you're going to find yourself alone, bitter, sitting in a room, upset at the entire world, instead of walking in the love that God wants to send you. And I really do believe that if he can send this type of love to me, I know women who are far better than me that deserve the same, if not better. I think we all deserve to be with a person that when we lay down at night, there are absolutely no questions about where our heart is. Your heart should be safe with the person that you choose to be with. And I feel like if you're laying down at night and you do not feel like your heart is safe, something needs to be done. Because I don't think that God wants us to live in this America with these leaders. And the very least of what we have to deal with at home is more abuse and more trauma. We deserve good things. We deserve good things. And if God is going to allow us to experience his love in a relationship, why not that?
There it is.
So heal for that.
Your father said, I love your daughter, Mr. Elliott. Said
I love you too, Dad. I'm going to call you, I promise.
Tori Child of the Most High, she commented, said, thank you, Lateris. I'm watching and listening. I am her that was abused 3 times, and the last time 3 years ago. I'm in tears. So she was on the live that day or whatever. A lot of people, glory, glory, hallelujah. We walk in agreement with that prayer. It's just a lot. Thank you so much, Lateris, for asking Darian to pray, and thank you, Darian and Bruce, for covering us in prayer. I receive it. I am walking home, coming from the grocery store, and I'm listening.
I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah, comment below and let me know where y'all are listening from. What state, what city, what country. They said, shout out, this is a healing movement happening right before us. Glory to God. Yeah, definitely. If you also have any more questions, leave some comments. We'll be on another until about 7:30, because I know they hungry and their food getting cold that I bought for them. So
I'm here for the wings.
Yeah, you're here for the wings. We got another 11 minutes.
That's right.
Yeah,
we got to kick it with you.
Yeah. So y'all got any questions?
It's still a celebration.
Yeah, it's a celebration. 100,000 views. But the one thing that wouldn't have been possible if y'all didn't show up and be authentic.
But thank you though. Thank you for having us. You know what I mean? Do that.
Thank you for having us, especially when you had insight on who I was.
Yeah.
Before this. And so I tell Bruce all the time, because he moved here to be with me.
Yeah.
When we talk to people that have known me and they see and they comment on the difference of who I am now versus what I was 10 years ago, that always, like, I can tell him all day long what I had to deal with. When other people are just like, no, Dee Dee really was not this way. When this is new. We don't know who this is. We thank God for change, but it's that meant a lot to me that you would allow us to come on and just express where we were, and that it doesn't always have to be the way that it's always been.
No. So why was it at first? Because Bruce was so surprised. He was like, "What? You finna go on a podcast and talk about our relationship? Why was it that you didn't? What was it that? Because you just popped up and said, "Hey, we married." What was that about?
It wasn't the fact of that. It was talking about talking about us. Yeah, it was the fact that
she was talking
about
that's what I mean
on a podcast.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying. So what made you decide? Like, you're the person that just popped up and said, "Hey, I'm married." You know what I'm saying? Didn't even say, "Hey, I'm divorced."
I didn't.
So what made you decide to do that?
You know, I felt like, so I've always sort of led sort of like a public life, especially here, especially after I got to be like an adult. Because once I started, once I got on the praise team at church, and then I started traveling, doing Women That Are Loose and all these conferences, I was exposed to more people, anyway.
Yeah.
So when I started doing like TV shows, and then I started working with Kirk, I was just already kind of out anyway.
Yeah.
And so when the whole thing came out about my dad, that shut me down for months. It shut me down for months. I was scared to go out in public.
No, literally 4
like
months.
I could not. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go to the grocery store because I didn't want people to come up to me and say. It wasn't that I was scared about that people were going to talk about that. I was just so scared of, Dee Dee, we just, we're so sorry and we feel so bad, because I didn't want that. I didn't want the, you know what I'm saying? I just didn't want anybody to feel sorry for me. So because of the fact that I had, I had already been kind of put out, it was just sort of nerve-wracking to me. It was sort of nerve-wracking to me to be talking about my relationship, because I was I covered my relationship really well. I kept it as tight to the vest as I possibly could. So because I kept it so tight and close to me, I didn't necessarily want to share it with, with everybody. Right. So even though Bruce and I had been, again, when y'all saw the picture of me in my wedding dress, Bruce and I had took pretty much 6 months before that to plan the wedding. Mm-hmm. I planned the entire, or we were planning basically, we were planning the wedding while I was on the road, while I was on tour. And so, I just wanted to keep it close to me. I didn't want to, I had never been the type that would post pictures of the guys that I was dating or anything like that. It was always just like, that ain't none of your business. You know what I'm saying? Like who I'm spending time with, offline is not any of your business. And so when I did post the picture, I don't even think Bruce knew that I was about to post the picture. I was getting ready.
No, we were in Oakland.
I was getting ready to walk out on stage.
Backstage, and I literally, we were chilling, and she was just on her phone like Dee Dee does. And then she posted, and I get an alert. So they out now. It's the first song of the set, and I'm looking like.
And I still got 2 hours left before I'm even coming off the stage.
Yeah,
anyway,
so I'm looking like. Oh, but we did that because for us we would say this is our bubble.
This is our
that's
bubble.
That's where we connected, and that's where we built,
yeah,
and that was our safe place.
That's where we did the work, was in the bubble. So by the time people saw us, we were solid. It was. So I was prepared for the comments when I posted the picture, because I knew that people did not know that I had went through a divorce. Yeah. You definitely didn't know that I was dating unless you were right here up on me. Yeah. So when I posted the picture, that was in August. Yeah. The next picture that they saw of Bruce was we're married, guys.
I was ready to. Because people feel like I'm young and I'm younger. But they don't understand that I'm a real.
You don't have to do that, babe.
No. I'm just saying.
He was built for this.
I was prepared for it to be, a thing, because she hadn't been covered. So I was prepared to be like, yo, I know how to. I'm covering her. And I've been covering for a while.
And y'all don't even know.
And you don't even know.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, was my thing. I was just like, all right, it's great for everybody to say, oh, that's beautiful or whatever. But the people who were coming, well, da-da-da-da-da. No. You don't understand. You don't know. Because you have probably not seen what a God thing is.
Yeah.
But when and you're confident in what it is, then it's fine. And it doesn't mean that we don't have, our challenges or whatever, but
we do.
You understand that this is something that God did for real.
Well, it's definitely God did it, because that's what attracted me to have y'all on the podcast, because I saw Dee Dee with a different glow. Well, I ain't say different. She had a glow.
Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't have no glow
That wasn't
before.
bronzer.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like,
Hilarious.
who is this? I was like, what happened? Like, what happened? And I was so intrigued because she was happy.
Yeah.
And it was radiating through her pores. It was, because you can always tell somebody, like I'm a person, first of all, I'm a director. So I coach people on how to tell a story facially, through voice, through their body language or whatnot.
Yeah.
And so when I saw her, I was like, oh, this is authentic. This is her walking in a level of healing and purity, having known her story. And I was like, I want to know about that. And I want to know about that guy.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that they say about God. It says that men shall see your good works
Yes.
and glorify your Father in
Yes.
heaven. It's the same thing. I was like, hold on, I see something. I want to know who this dude is.
And that is essentially what marriage is supposed to be.
Yes.
We are supposed to be showing the world the relationship
Yes.
between Christ and the church.
Yes.
So when people get to talking about how raggedy the church is and all that, you're right. It can be. But if the relationship between Christ and his church lines up the right way, we will see a change. And this is the thing. I don't want nobody to feel like that I put Bruce on a pedestal of, you know what I'm saying, he's right up there with God, but he is my husband, and so he's gonna have to be on a pedestal in order for it, because he's my husband.
Yes.
Just because of who I am and because who I know I am, he's my husband. He gotta be on a pedestal. But I understand
and I'm
that,
not perfect.
And he's not perfect. He is not without. Because this is the thing. Even though Bruce and I we love each other, we're in love with each other, we like each other, we still have things to overcome concerning me being 38, him being 32. Like, there are still things that him as a 32-year-old man will say, and I just be like, oh, no, sir. We can't do that. You know, but the thing is, the basics of what he is as a man is what I know that I can deal with for the rest of my life. He's not disrespectful.
Good.
He's considerate. Like, Bruce is, even though he does not have any biological children of his own, he came into my situation with my girls who were already, they were already little mini me's. I'm sorry.
The split.
He said, I'm sorry.
The split.
My girls really just only listen to me and mama, you know what I'm saying? And so, but Bruce came in and he loves like from the beginning, it was always, well, when our girls get to be this age, I want to do this, I want to do that. I paid attention to the way that this man pursued me.
That's good.
That let me know what it is that I was going to be putting up with, and what I said that I can put up with for the rest of my life. So our story is great because of what I've overcome and what he brought to the table to help me actually walk in me overcoming. Mm-hmm. But we're not without our challenges. But what we will say is that our marriage, even though, and I know people will say, well, you guys have only been married since December 2019. So of course you haven't hit any hard stuff. We got a lot of hard stuff.
You started off at the beginning.
We started off hard.
And the hardest thing you could ever
We started off hard.
And we started off hard separately without even knowing each other, and then coming into a space to where we started off hard,
adjusting to each other's hard.
This is not easy to be a 32-year-old man married to a 38-year-old with 18 and 19-year-old daughters that's never done this before. Let's be clear on what this stuff is. Mm-hmm. And when I say that I'm flawed or whatever the case may be, I'm not saying the typical, she been with me and she been, this and third, and I'm out here cheating, I'm out here doing, that's not what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is that I don't always get it right. Yeah. And we do have our conversations, but in the midst of me not getting it right, I get to a point to where I don't go to anybody else but her and say, hey, I know I didn't get this right. I know that I'm apologizing. I know that this, but here, like, what is this? And I'm talking about certain things that, like she said, I might say, or certain things that I might do, or certain things that, at this point you didn't consider me in this. You know what I mean? And so it's those types of things that you're learning, you know what I mean, in those things. So I I say that to literally just kind of cover,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, what people think about those things. No, we have been going through and still
Go through.
But we're committed
but
we're committed to showing up for each other every
absolutely.
single day. One of the things that I decided that I was going to do after we got married is I decided to keep a journal that I would write in every single week, basically talking about the previous week. And I did that for the first 52 weeks of our marriage. So, the first, sometimes my people can be very traditional in the way that they look at anniversary gifts. So my grandma was like, the first year is just the paper gift. Bam.
Yeah,
Journal.
whole journal.
So I gave him a journal of me, and I talked about every single thing that we dealt with the first year, how I felt, maybe how he made me feel. So there were weeks when I was just like, I really hated that you did this the other day because this made me feel like whatever. And then there were other weeks when I'm like, I don't know how in the world I made it all of these years without you. Like, I want to know you for the rest of my life. And I told him in one entry, if something was to happen where we were to go our separate ways, my reaction to that and the way that I would approach that feeling is, God, I am so grateful that you let me experience love in this way, which lets me know that I can experience it again.
Yeah.
Or I can experience something similar to it. So I gave him that journal.
And I read it.
It messed
He
you up.
read
didn't it?
all through it.
I
messed
actually
you
read
up,
it
didn't
in the same night. And honestly, thank you. Thank you for that. Seriously, because
Don't do this.
no,
Yeah, you
we're
the
not
one that brought it up.
doing that tonight.
Yeah, you brought it up.
But what I'm saying is thank you for
Yeah.
that, because I don't think that couples do that enough.
Yes.
Because sometimes when you're in a space, we have to read it. And so for men and women, but for me to see myself in how I reacted by the dates of what was going on, and then saying, oh, this is how this is how I made her feel in that day. Because I literally went back immediately to, and it was in Dee Dee's, way of writing, and just, today, it wasn't the Moesha journal, but it was definitely like,
Dear
diary. It wasn't that, but it was just, today,
Moesha journal.
Today was a day that, and we went to this and we did this, and when we came home, you made me feel this, and I was like, whoa.
Stuff you just wasn't even thinking
I
about.
wasn't, and the thing was, she told me that she was gonna do it.
But you just don't think about
it. But I didn't remember until she gave it to, and I have been seeing the book.
Yeah, just
I've been seeing her write in the book. I've been seeing, but I didn't necessarily, it didn't register to me what was happening. But she would definitely do that, and I read it, and I said, oh, you know what? And that made me a better man to understand, because it's not just verbally. You know what I mean? There's nothing I can react to. I have to read it, and I have to say, and I have to sit with that. I have to feel what she felt in that time, October, 19, October 2020, or whatever the case may be. So that was crazy. And then we get married, and 2 months later, coronavirus.
So we've been stuck.
We've been
stuck with each other all of this time.
All
And
year.
people ask, like, I get this message weekly. How's y'all's marriage during the pandemic? What are you talking about? I like my husband. I want to be with him
Because
all
some
day.
people don't like their spouses, Dee Dee.
Because this is the thing.
They don't like their spouses.
Bruce has gotten me to a point where I like him so much, I hate when he is away from me. Even though I know he has to work, I literally hate when he is not with me. Now, the thing is, if we're home, I don't want him like this.
Yeah.
I want him to be in the other room, but I want...
But you want me to be home.
I don't want him right here now.
I don't need him to be
I
all
want him
up
right
on
here.
me, but I do want to know that I can walk out of the room and go and sit in his lap if I want to.
Yeah.
I just genuinely like my husband, and I am so grateful that the entire time that I have known Bruce, since August of 2016, I have liked him every single night. And I am praying and I am asking God that he favors our relationship to where I never get to a point where I don't like him. I know what other people have been through. I know that other people have been in marriages for 20 years and sometimes they don't like them. I don't want that to be my story.
Right.
That's good.
And-
We got Herfa. She's watching from the UK. Shout out to you.
Hey, there's a bunch of people,
Mercy
man.
from Zambia. She said it's 3:30 a.m. She's here.
Thank you so much for staying up
Thank
with us.
you.
Yeah, man. She
Absolutely.
said you're doing tremendous work. This is a community you have built. Oh, built. Okay, you have a community you have built. All right, thank you so much for that. Greensboro, North Carolina, Dayton,
Yeah.
Ohio, Jamaica in the house, Brooklyn, Detroit, Birmingham, Alabama,
What up, Birmingham?
Denise, New York, in the house, Atlanta, Bowie, Maryland, Jamaica, Nishi Daily, shout out to you, Grenada, Michigan, H-Town, that's what's up,
I love
Ohio.
it.
They say y'all on here preaching.
Somebody had a question though. I did see it, and I want you to
What's the
answer
question?
this. The question was how do you split the different? I think what was asked was what was the difference, or what is the difference between being the wife and being
And the friend. Yeah, I
and
saw that.
how do you
How do I
Differentiate.
flip back and forth?
yeah. And when I guess when is the best time to do or whatever. I'm sorry, I know but that was the question.
So I think that as a woman, we have the ability to go into different modes. We're not just one trick ponies. We literally can do it all. If you can be the CEO, the mother, the wife, all of those are 3 different jobs that women have been known and that we do all the time, every day, without even thinking about it. I feel like in a marriage, you have to be thinking. One artist that I sing with all the time, Myron Butler, used to tell us all the time in the studio, singers are thinkers. You don't ever let a note come out of your mouth without actually thinking about what that note is going to be. So if I break out and start just randomly singing,
Do it.
worthy is your name, Jesus, you deserve the praise. Worthy is your name. Worthy is your name, Jesus, you deserve the praise. Worthy is your name. I'm not going to sing any of that without knowing that worthy is your name was coming out before I ever started even talking to you. So the thing is, when you're relating to your husband, I think that when he comes home and he says, hey, I need to talk to my friend today, immediately go into the mode of, I'm not going to be judgmental. I am going to listen to him. I'm going to ask questions to see, well, what exactly are you looking for in this conversation with your friend? Do you want me just to listen? You just want something to, someone to bounce things off of? Or do you want someone to actually give you advice back? Because a lot of times as wives, we try to fix it. He may not want it to be fixed. And because we'll go so overboard in saying, okay, well, I got to be the one with the cape and I got to make sure that my husband is this and that. And so that's the thing. A lot of times when Bruce, sometimes he'll say, I want to talk to the creative side of you, because I don't show up as a creative all the time. Mm-hmm. A lot about me is very corporate America and like, okay, well, no, on the black and white on the paper this don't make no sense. In a creative's mind, it don't matter whether it is black and white, or
purple,
not.
green.
I thought about it, it can be done. And so when he tells me I want to talk to the creative side, I have to tap into the imagination that I don't let show up a lot. The ability that I have to read a book and immediately transport into that space of where that book is set, and I can see the characters, I can see what they have on. I'm reading a book right now, and I am literally in the house with these people because that's where my imagination goes when I read. When Bruce wants me to be creative, that's where I go. So I think that you have to, the only way that you can do that though is if you've built a friendship.
Yeah, for
if
sure.
you just immediately going from,
Keisha,
this
up,
my
girl?
Man, and then now we're married, you ain't gonna have no friendship to reference.
No.
So that's the reason why people say, and why now I know that it's true, is the best marriages are because of the best friendships.
Yes.
You have to be friends.
You gotta
Because
be,
this is the thing. I knew that I wanted to be with Bruce because of the way that I looked at him in comparison to my best friend.
That's good.
My best friend, Tiara, who I don't know if she's on, but hey, boo.
What up, T?
My best friend, Tiara, I will take every bullet for that girl.
For sure.
I love her with a love that I didn't even realize was possible for me to love just as a friend.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to, I'm very careful. If me and Tiara are talking about a certain situation, I'm careful in the way that I respond to her, even though I'm going to still be blunt. I'm going to still be straightforward. I can cushion it because I understand Tiara's personality. I know that she can be a bit softer, and so I may have to massage that a little bit. I knew that I wanted to be with Bruce because, oh my God, I'm taking the same care with him that I do with Tiara. But that is because Bruce and I developed a friendship. There is absolutely nothing that I cannot talk to this man about. And some of the stuff I know good doggone well Bruce be zoning out. I know he do. He can make it seem like to me like, no, babe, I'm really listening. I'm just like, I'm talking about deep female issues, and he is sitting up here like I am presenting an Oscar award-winning movie.
Or talking about the man in her DMs. You know what I'm saying? It just depends.
That's another thing. We're that open to where if a dude sends me a message because he may not have gotten the memo that I really am like for real good and married, I'll pull the DM up. Me and Bruce we'll go to his profile
and look at pictures.
We'll laugh at a couple of the things. But that's the friend part because the husband part can fell away.
Real territorial.
And so that's the thing. I think that's where the marriage could be challenging. And if I'm going to say that it's work, that's where the work is. Because sometimes when I come home, I immediately I'm just jumping out of creative mode because I've been recording for 8 hours. When I come home, Bruce wants me to be his friend. Trinity wants me to be her mom half of the sentence because she wants me to be a friend on the backside because, again, I have teenage daughters. So it's like there's a lot of things that I juggle, and that is the challenging part. But I think that when it comes down to flipping back and forth between wife and friend, you got to have a friendship to reference first because you cannot reference zero. You're going to go back to zero.
Would y'all ever want to have your own podcast? Because y'all got a lot to say.
We talk about it, but
I'll say this, and I'll make it public on Dear Future Wifey.
Yeah.
I do have a show, and you know this.
Yeah. So tell them.
I do have a show and podcast that is coming, and it's called The Music Armory, where basically we go through my guests, their careers and the stuff that they're doing, and we kind of dig a little deeper into people that you pretty much know, but you don't necessarily know their story.
Yes.
And so we're working on that.
When can they look forward to seeing that?
Spring.
Okay.
Yeah, we're looking at spring. We don't have any dates yet, but the first guest is going to be my wife. So we'll dig, you know what I'm saying? We'll dig into that and some things. And I mean, because there's some things that I know that I can ask and talk, you know what I'm saying, to her about and
Crystal Franklin said they most definitely should have a podcast. Somebody said, please make a podcast. Bree said, they all saying, please have a Humble Warrior, please have a podcast. So y'all got their vote.
Y'all do not. See, this is the thing. I try my best to shy away from things like this. Like I only do this like once or twice a year because can y'all see the ratchet that just jumps out of me at
She started twerking a while ago. She started twerking about being the first guest.
Do y'all want me representing Jesus and twerking?
Yeah, they want all that. Yeah, they want all that.
Because I love to do all of it. I can't even lie to y'all. I love it.
She talking about she's gonna be the first guest. She should start twerking.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what is happening. That is exactly what's gonna happen.
But that's what people want. People want real. So yeah, definitely when you get ready to release it, I'll drop a link and tell people, hey, y'all need to go watch this because I believe that y'all have a lot to offer to the world because that's what was so powerful. I believe that the 100K came from your transparency and relatability. It's time to stop playing church. It's time to stop feeling like we can't say certain things. And as unconventional as God was, and I still say God was in y'all's marriage, it was God.
Yeah.
Yes.
And oftentimes we'll go, well, I don't see, that don't make sense because God would have never introduced them if she was still married or whatever. When people don't understand, when covenants are broken, it's broken.
When they are broken, they're broken. And I really want people to get out of that because let me tell you something. Y'all gonna miss a whole bunch trying to hold on to whatever, because the thing is, a lot of what we were taught was not true.
Yeah.
It wasn't true. And I think that y'all, because we pick and choose what scriptures we want to take literally and what we don't. Like, oh, well, you can't remarry because your spouse is still alive and all that stuff. Like, but when the Bible say we should not be eating shrimp and none of that stuff, y'all stay out of shrimp boil. Stop playing with me. Right. Stop playing with me. That's another side of me that shows up, guys. The thug side that I just be like, yo, what's up?
Stop playing with
me. Meet me. Yeah. Stop playing with me. Who you talking about? Please, y'all don't want this on no podcast.
Yes, they do. They need that. They need that. Yeah, because a lot of people have commented on my page was like, well, would you go remarry your last wife or whatever? And I was like, no, me and her good. Like, we good. Like, she texted me the other day. I texted and said, hey, Cicely Tyson passed away. Yeah. And she's like, oh, thank you so much. She was like, oh my God, did she really? Because that's her favorite actress. Yeah. Yeah. And so we chopped it up and we always been good. But then you listen to people, they like, well, you can't go remarry as long as your ex-wife is still alive.
But that is in a space to where, again, when you're in a space of where that covenant is supposed to be. Yeah. That's the thing. Like,
and that's what nobody is asking up front. Like, no one is asking. So did God tell you?
Exactly.
Did God tell you? Because if God didn't tell you, what are you doing?
And so being truthful about that.
I'm being truthful and saying, yo, I messed up. I did not hear God say. I did not. And I said that over and over in the episode. And y'all still showed up in the comments talking about, well, I don't think that they should be because she should be. Y'all weren't listening. Right. I'm going to tell you again. I was told time and time again, Didi, do not do that. But because I feel like I'm grown and I do what I want to do.
Do not do what? Be specific.
My mom told me, Didi, you do not want to marry this boy. And I was just like, Mama, these were my exact words to her.
And this is the first marriage we're talking about.
I'm going to marry him whether you like it or not.
Yes.
Now, you know, good dog, well, I was going to have to reap some things after I done told my mama that. So that was what it was. I knew the day that I was walking down the aisle. Yep. My brothers are walking me down the aisle and I am bawling out of control. I couldn't even see the people that was at my wedding because I was crying so hard. I knew then that I was making a mistake, but what I am, because I'm the oldest child, I see my stuff through. So I said, okay, I did it. I'm just going to have to hold this L for a minute. I had no clue that it was going to last as long as it did. I really honestly thought that he was going to leave me after like 2 or 3 years. That did not happen. Yeah. And so it's my fault. I've said this to so many people. I take full responsibility for the demise of my marriage, and that is the reason why I'm okay with being the villain in his story. Yeah. I'm okay with it because no one else is going to have to take responsibility for that. I'll do that on my own. If he never ever does, I'm cool with shouldering all of it. And so that's the reason why I knew I wasn't going to make the same mistake again. That's why it had to be confirmed to me time and time again that Bruce was who I was supposed to be with. And that is why I am walking in the happiness that I'm in, because I really do feel like God got my back on all of this. He's not going to allow this to take me down. Yes. I really do feel like I am on the other side of okay. And I said that when all of the stuff came out about my dad. I posted a status and said, I see myself on the other side of this and I see myself being okay. Yeah. Please believe that your girl is okay today, all right? I don't need y'all to be worried no more. So no more comments about that. I'm chilling, guys.
And believe as much as she says that I saved her, she saved me as well.
Let's hear that before we wrap up.
Like this is not a thing. I'm very mature and I'm very spiritual and I'm very faith based and all of that. But there definitely are some things, and definitely were some things where for me my mind was everywhere. I was in a space of just survival. I was in a space of just kind of doing whatever I needed to do to make it. I wasn't happy. And I felt like because I was going after my dreams and I was trying to do this and that or whatever the case may be, that I was just operating in, so what I learned is that I was running in the dysfunction, of just trying and not wanting to fail. You know what I mean? So that was a big thing. And so 2018 came at the probably the best year you know what I'm saying, of my career. And so I'm thinking, hey, you know what? 2019 is coming. We gonna be good. We about to be da-da-da-da. And nothing actually. And then, you know, of course, I came up, of course, I'm on a job that I'm very grateful, you know, for and stuff like that or whatever. But it was literally just like, I'm thinking that I'm going to be on this high.
Yeah.
And I'm taking care of everything and I'm doing what I need to do and I'm sending money back home and I'm doing all that kind of stuff, whatever. And that didn't happen in 2019. I got to a point to where, okay, well, you saw this. Now it's time for your wife to do with this. And I had to deal in the man space of feeling like I can't take care of my family. I can't do what I'm supposed to be doing. And so when my wife, who is loving and supporting me in that space, is saying, it's okay, I got it. You do this and you help me. So it builds me up to a space to say, you know what? We are a team and I'm not trying to do this on my own and I'm not in survival mode anymore. And I do have help. And, you know, the things that I am thinking about, I'm not crazy. I actually, you know, have dreams, but they're actual real things, you know? And so I in that space, I was in that space of hopping and being a nomad and just wanting to, do, but I needed structure. I needed somebody, because if that was the case, I would have just been doing what I was doing and, you know, kind of chasing my tail, even though, you know what I mean, there were things that were good for me that were happening, but it wasn't in a consistent, you know, situation. And she had to sit me down and say, look, this is this. And this is real. And these are the things that you need to be able to do as a man. So the point to where when I meet her at the point of where I was to where I am now, the man that people see and the things that are happening come because I met her and because, you know, like I said, I had a solid foundation. My parents, you know what I'm saying, is the thing. But there's also a thing where the leave and cleave is very real with men, you know what I'm saying, as well, is that, okay, I have to cleave to what she is thinking as well for me. And she's covering me in that space. So as much as I was covering her in the space, she's covering me too, which was new to both of us. You know, so that's the thing. So, you know. That's good.
Beauty with Bella said, glad to know I'm not the only one who cried sad tears on my wedding day.
Ooh, child. I cried a river, okay?
She said all of the signs were worn out from flashing and I still did what I wanted to do. 19 years later, I'm still, she says she's getting a divorce now.
Oh, wow.
Bruce is such an excellent listener. He has such a beautiful spirit and energy. He is not overpowering at all, yet comes across competent and masculine. His wife should let him continue to speak and all that stuff. So all that. Hearing y'all is increasing my faith. God bless you both. Very healthy relationship. Love this podcast. Lady said, I was married 17 years. Last relationship, he committed suicide.
Wow.
Please listen to God's voice and trust his plan.
Yeah.
It's some deep stuff.
That's crazy.
That's a show, Man Space, all those things fellas deal with when you can't provide and fill in the blank for a season. I was talking about that's the name. That's the official Crystal Franklin said that. You guys have a great dynamic going on. So that's amazing. Listen, man, we can talk all day, but I don't want this light to die again and put us in blackout.
There was a question too.
How are you seeing this?
Because I'm seeing. I'm paying attention.
Well, you know what?
Paying attention to
all right,
the people who are paying.
Bruce is gonna go ahead and host the podcast.
This is the last question. No. Because somebody wanted to know how we met.
That was in the first podcast.
We literally met on Instagram, guys. I didn't know who he was. He knew me. He commented on a video of mine. I responded, but I didn't know who he was because I talked to everybody online, whatever. And then he came to Dallas with a friend of mine who I used to work for. He was her MD. I went to the show.
Say Chris and Michelle.
Yeah, so I used to sing background for Chris and Michelle.
Hey,
he was her MD at the moment. They came to Dallas to do a show. I went to the show to support my friend, met him while I was there. Still didn't know he was the guy from Instagram. And 3 days later is when I found out he was the guy from Instagram, because I had no clue that they were all the same person. Yeah, then that was it. So technically, I mean, oh my God, I'm a millennial, but I just pulled a Gen Z move by meeting and marrying somebody from Instagram. Oh my gosh!
And I did not slide. I didn't slide into her DMs. I did it very publicly.
He did not slide into my DMs
under the video.
Yeah, well, yeah, he sent me. He commented on the video, and then he sent me a message like later on that night after we hung out with a group of our friends, and he told me that I was very beautiful, and I was the one that said, "Keep in touch with me." I sent him my number. Baby, nothing about that was me, because I don't be sending my number to
No, that's very true.
Y'all. But yeah, but your husband could be on Instagram. That's really the moral of the story.
The moral of the story, your husband could be on Twitter.
If the package, it might not come in the package that you want. But it might be in the package that you need.
It may be in the package that you need.
So you were planning on going to the show regardless?
I was going to go to the show regardless. I didn't know that he was the guy.
So you was going to meet him regardless?
I was going to meet him regardless, but I definitely did not. I mean, because the comment under the video was, "Hey, I hope we get to see each other while I'm there this weekend." I went to his page, saw that he was a drummer, didn't look at his bio to see who he played for. I came back to my page and said, "Oh, I'm sure our paths will cross at some point this weekend." I still don't know who this man is. So I didn't know what show he was talking about, but I went to the show. And when my homeboy was like, "Hey, this is my friend, blah, blah, blah," I was just like, "Oh, okay, cool." And then after that, I'm telling you, 3 days later was when I found out that Bruce was the guy that commented under the video. And I had been talking to him for 3 days.
And what's so interesting about that is that, as y'all saw in the episode, that was one of her nevers, is to ever date another musician.
I did not want. I wanted like a personal banker. I wanted.
It's still kind of like.
Well, yeah. To be. I mean, if we're keeping it lit,
honest,
I still really, honestly, don't want him to be as much of a creative as he is. But I accept him for who he is, and I love all of that. But yeah, I wanted a personal banker. I wanted. I wanted a principal. I wanted like a college professor. I didn't want nobody that sang, played, nothing. I didn't even want you to have like no type of pitch, nothing.
She said no type
and
of
I definitely didn't want him to be younger than me. What are you talking about? So yeah.
So if y'all haven't watched that episode, make sure y'all watch it out, because she talks about how they met. She talks about her list of nevers. And so my takeaway from that was so powerful, because today I was writing out. This is the first time I ever wrote out what I'm looking for in a wife.
Yes. Now you be specific now.
Yes.
No, for real.
Trust me, I am. So after all these letters that I've written over these episodes, I said, I've never written what I really want.
Yeah.
I write about what I see us being, what I see that, but I never said I want her to be this. And so today I woke up this morning, I lay in the bed, I said, let me just write what I'm looking for. Ooh. But one of those things was, I always pray, I said, God, even if she's not to the T, these things that I'm looking for, give me the spiritual wherewithal to accept her if she comes under a label of some of my nevers. And that was because of that episode. Wow. And so what people don't understand is this podcast is not just, and I get a lot of people that inbox me and say, "Hey, I wrote this book. Can I come on the podcast? I wrote this book." And I go, it's not that simple. This podcast is literally my personal journey.
Yeah.
And I said, because it's my personal journey, God is handpicking people to be on the podcast to speak into my life.
Because you have to be the intentionality that you need.
Ooh.
It has to be in every single thing.
Absolutely.
I made that comment under your post the other day. Everybody that was at our wedding.
Yes.
If you were not the type of person that was there and saying, I support and love them both, even if you didn't know me and even if you didn't know him, like most of the wedding was his people. They didn't know me.
Oh, really?
I did not hardly invite nobody.
And it was here.
Yes. Bruce's people all flew in, his friends. Because I wasn't trying to have no wedding like this. I really wasn't. So I didn't invite a whole bunch of people. Most of that guest list was Bruce's, but I wanted people to be in that room that loved him enough, that trusted him enough to say, well, who he picked is obviously what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
If you were in that room and there was any type of friction that I have felt ever, you were not going to be there.
Yeah.
Everybody, even the girl down to who did my hair, even the girl that did my makeup, everybody had to be in support of what I was doing because I didn't want nobody there while I was being spoken over by these amazing words that Kirk Franklin,
Man.
you know what I'm saying, gave over
so
us.
much, big bro.
Anybody that was silently praying against that in the seats, I didn't want that. So no, you have to be intentional about when it, because this is concerning your heart.
Yeah, it's concerning
You
your
can't
life.
just let any Tom, Dick, and Harry come up in here talking about I wrote a book. It could be a book of witchcraft. Who knew?
A book about what?
Witchcraft.
You know, people be trying to put spells on people about love and all that stuff, but I'm just like, now look, girl, we are not playing those games. So no, everybody can't talk into me. Everybody cannot. That's one of the reasons why I don't necessarily listen to advice a whole lot, because I just be like, let me consider the source.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Somebody, last question. Somebody said, Bruce, where are you from?
From Tacoma, Washington, basically Seattle, Washington. That's where I'm from.
And my good friend, Pastor Gordon Banks, is
Yeah,
Overcomers Church.
That's my guy.
Yeah, I went there to his installation service.
Wow.
Yeah, way back then. I flew out there. He was an associate pastor at Covenant Church.
Yes.
And so when he was installed in Seattle, me and my wife then, we flew out there to his installation service and spent a couple of days in Seattle. I
That
don't know
is
how y'all
my
deal
guy.
with that. It just missed the whole time. Like, it's just raining all the time.
Yeah, well,
it's the strangest thing.
Beautiful summers there.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Summers,
the whole
green.
city is beautiful, but
Yeah.
it's just interesting. But yeah, so listen, thank y'all so much for tuning in to the live 100K celebration with Dee Dee. We call her Dee Dee around here. I know on the podcast I put Darian, Elliott, and Bruce Briggz. He don't have a last name. It's just Bruce Briggz. Every time I get ready to type up a graphic for that, I'll be like, should I put Bruce Briggs Elliott? I said, that just seems strange. It's like Darian, Elliott, and Bruce Briggs.
Nah, it's
like,
okay.
No,
Don't try to understand these things, guys. Just appreciate the love.
Oh, okay, because I was about to
No,
be...
don't
oh,
worry.
okay.
Don't worry.
All right,
Just appreciate it. That's his
just know
trademark.
she has the legal name. That's
I
all
do.
I'm saying.
There it
That's
is.
it. That's
I'm
it.
legal now.
You legal
I
now?
was legal last time.
You wasn't?
I'll put it to you later.
Thank y'all for tuning in. Shout out to my son Armani for running the live back
Absolutely.
there.
Thank you, Armani.
Doing a great
Thank you,
job.
Armani.
Armani doing the doggone thing, 17 years old, and God has so much purpose in store for him. So listen, thank y'all. Make sure y'all check out this coming up Wednesday. I'm going to have Jay Barnett on the episode. We're going to be doing Heal Brother Heal Part 2. So it's about to get really, really lit. And the next couple of podcasts, I have my brothers in here. So I have Jay Barnett this coming up Wednesday, and the week after that, I have someone else from the TV show Ready to Love. So we're gonna get a chance to talk to our brothers and let us see what emotional space we're in. But yeah, take care. God bless you. Love you a lot. Hit that button. Hit the button.